In this lesson video, we are going to create this Roman column using the techniques we already discussed before, which are point-to-point modeling techniques and also the spin operation. First, let's set up the scene and then also the UI. We don't need all of these objects, so let's just delete them all. Next, we want to create the column using a real measurement unit. The column height will be only 3 meters. So having the default 1 grid unit as 1 meter is too large for our need. We want to use 10 cm for the grid size. To do that, go to the overlay option here and change this scale value to 0.1. Next, as we discussed earlier, to avoid viewport clipping when working on small scale objects, you always want to set the viewport clip start value to a small number. So press N and go to the View tab. Change this to 0.01. Next, we will be editing floating vertices and edges. So let's change the background color to a brighter color. Also, I want to make this a bit bluish. This way, we can see the selected vertices easier. For the solid view mode, I want to use matte cap and turn on the cavity option down here, and then choose world here, so we can see some ambient occlusion effect on the model. Now we can start modeling the middle part of the column, or also known as the shaft. We can start by creating a cylinder. Because we changed the grid scale value before to 0.1, Blender now creates new objects 10 times smaller by default. Press dot on the numpad to frame the object. For the shaft, we want to create 16 capsule-like ornaments. Each of these ornaments will take up 2 faces. So the total vertices that we need are 16 multiplied by 2 equals 32. Basically, this default value is already correct, so we don't need to change anything. For the radius, we want the total diameter of the column to be 40 cm, so the radius should be 20 cm. Next is for the depth or the height. We will take care of this later, so we can just leave this value as is for now. Press Tab to go to the edit mode. Notice this green Y-axis line here. We want to select these 2 faces at the front. Go to the face mode and select these 2. Press Ctrl I to invert the selection, and then press X and remove all of the selected faces. Next, we want to inset these 2 faces together. Press A to select all, then press I to inset them, roughly about this size. Next, we want to make a round topology. To do this, we simply need to bevel this vertex and then later use the mirror modifier to copy it to the left and to the bottom area. So again, we only need to focus on this vertex now. Select this vertex. Now we need to do vertex bevel, not edge bevel. For edge bevel, we use Ctrl B, while for vertex bevel, we use Shift Ctrl B. Move it further and scroll the mouse so we get 4 vertices at the bevel area. And make the left bevel touching the existing vertex. Next, we need to fix the topology so most of the faces are quads. We can do this using many different techniques. For now, let's use the knife tool by pressing K. Cut from this edge, then this vertex, and then this edge. Press E to start a new cut. Cut on this vertex, then on this edge. Press E again. Now if you wonder why I do this, again, basically, I want to make all of the faces become quads. The last one is from this vertex to this edge up here. Next, to fix this messy topology quickly, we can go to the face mode, Alt-A to deselect all, then press C to activate the circle selection mode. Select all of these faces. Now, if we have multiple faces like this, pressing F will actually merge them all into a single n-gon face. Let's select these 2 faces, then press F also. If we go to the vertex mode, we can see this vertex here. Just select it and press Ctrl X to dissolve it. Next, select this vertex here and this vertex. We want to connect these 2 vertices. Remember, we need to use J shortcut for this because we already have an existing topology. Now we have something like this. It looks nice, but notice if we select this vertex and try to move it, we actually have double vertices here. So press A, then Alt-M, and then choose by distance. Or you can simply press B letter key. We can see the B letter here has an underscore below it. We now have a clean model without any double vertices. Next, to copy this topology to the left and bottom, we can use the mirror modifier. Go to the object mode. If in the object mode you want to see the wireframe in the viewport, you can go up here and activate the wireframe option here. Open the modifier panel, add modifier, and then choose mirror here. Make sure the x-axis and x-bisect options turned on. Also z-axis and z-bisect. So now we have something like this. Hit the apply button and then go back to the edit mode. Next, we want to select all of the faces inside the capsule shape. You can go to the face mode and select them manually. But I want to show you an alternative method now. Select this vertex here, then hold Ctrl and select this vertex. With this method, Blender will find the shortest path between the two vertices and then select the vertices along that path, okay? After we have something like this, we can hold Ctrl and then press 3 on the keyboard to convert the selection to face selection mode. Then press E to extrude. Try not to extrude the face too far. I think I just push it too far. Press G, Y, and let me bring this to the front a bit, okay? Now we have a single module that we can spin around. To spin it, we need to select them all. Activate the spin tool and just drag this a little and release. In the operator panel, make sure the angle is set to 360 degrees. We haven't discussed this before. The spin operation actually has two different modes. In the default mode, which we have used before, each of the selected vertices will be extruded out and rotated around. The second mode which we are going to use is this use duplicates option here. With this option, the vertices will not be extruded, but rather duplicated or repeated over and over again along the circular path. We know that we have 16 steps, so enter 16 in here. The only problem now is that the first and the last copy become double. They now exist together in the same location. To fix this easily, just press A, then Alt-M, and then press B. Lastly, just to be safe, press Shift-N to recalculate the normals. Next, we want to make this shaft even prettier. Go back to the object mode. Turn off the wireframe overlay. Right-click and use the smooth shading mode. Go to the Data tab, Normals, and then turn on the Auto Smooth option here. The surface smoothing looks better now. But if you want to make the capsule border even smoother, we can use the bevel modifier. So add modifier and choose bevel here. We don't want all of the edges in the model beveled. We only want the sharp edges that get beveled. So change the limit method to angle here. Let's create the base and the capital parts of our column. Now, when we model the base, we need to see this shaft part of the column just for reference. Basically, we only want to see the bounding box of the model and not all of the edges and vertices, because this will be just too confusing to see. For this, we can go to the object panel, and down here in the viewport display, we can change this display as option from textured to bounce. What this actually means, before, Blender is allowed to display the object in the viewport up until the textured version of it. Now, we only allow Blender to display it as a bounding box. To create the base, we can start from a single vertex object. So press Shift-A, single vertex, add single vertex. Notice we are now still in the spin tool mode. Select the move tool here. Press 1 in the numpad to go to the front view. For the base, I want it to have a diameter of 60 centimeters. So just move this vertex to around 30 centimeters away from the origin. Press E and then Z and then move it like so. Press E again and move it here, and so on. You can create your own style for the profile if you want to. Okay, I think I still need to tweak some of these vertices around. Next, let's select this one. Press Shift Ctrl B to bevel it. And then let's bevel this one also. Okay, I think the profile is done. To spin it, we need to select them all. Use the spin tool and rotate this a bit. Input 360 here. And for the steps, I think 36 is good enough to get a smooth result. Remember, we created the profile using the point-to-point modeling technique, so expect to get flipped normals. We can see some of them are blue, but most of them are red. Press A and then Shift N. Now we have the outer part blue and the inner part red. Let's turn off the normal overlay. Next, to cap the holes in the base object, go to the edge mode. Hold Alt and click on one of the edges at the whole border. Then press F. Do the same thing with the bottom part. Alt-click and then press F. Go back to the object mode. Change the shading type to smooth and then turn on the auto smooth option. I think this line should not be sharp. Let's increase the angle threshold until we have all of the round surfaces smoothed out. Next, we want to copy and mirror this base to the top. Yes, you can create a different style for the capital part, but the process will be similar to how we created the base. I'm just being lazy here. Let me turn on the Move tool. To duplicate, press Shift D, and then press Z, and then move this up. To mirror or to flip this object vertically, we can go to the object menu up here, then choose Mirror, and then Z Global here. Or, as you can see, the shortcut is Ctrl M. So, let me show you how to use the shortcut. Press Ctrl M, and then press Z, and then left click to confirm. Okay? Now, because the origin of this object is exactly at the top of it, if we want to create a column with exactly 3 meters in height, we can just input this object Z coordinate to 3 meters. So, press N. We should be in the Item tab here. In the Location Z input field, type in 3 and then enter. So now, we have the base part and the capital part of the column finished. All we need to do now is to fix the shaft. Select the shaft object. Let's bring back the default display mode for this object, which is textured. Move this up. We can see this better from the front view. Move it until the bottom part slightly overlapping the base. Then Shift Z, Tab, 1, Alt A, and then press B and select only the upper part. Activate the Move mode, and just bring these vertices up until the top part slightly overlapping the capital part. Okay, finally we are done. Press Tab, and then Shift Z. We can see we have a nice looking architectural column with a real world scale. You can combine these objects into a single object if you want to. I believe you already know how to do that by now.